Yep, we're back. Welcome to another live stream with the Holy Duo. It's your man Eddie Ed.
It's dialogue. Folks, welcome.
Welcome. Make sure you smash the like button even before we get into this thing. And if you're watching the playback, smash the like button. Don't forget to do that. This helps us reach more people. This helps us know you like the content, and it helps us in the algorithm. So make sure you do that. And if you like the content, go ahead and subscribe.
Yeah.
It's free. Okay. Now you see the title. Now this one right here is pretty intense because we're talking about adult content here,
Mm.
and as followers and representations or representatives of Christ, we there's a certain standard. You know what I mean? Like we are held separate from worldly things, right? So I think that's something that we need to walk out. And of course, if you mess up, no problem. Get back up, brush it off, let's go. But we can't be having these type of activities in the camp and deem them to be acceptable because the word does not accept these type of things.
Mm.
So we're here to kind of talk about that, but we have a clip that we want to use in this whole discussion from a podcast or episode from Pierce Morgan's show. So we're gonna get into that right here. We got a couple of clips to look at, so let's go ahead and get into the clips, and then we're gonna kind of have space in between the clips to kind of share our thoughts on it, and then we got some verses for you guys in between. So first clip, let me go ahead and pull that one up right here.
Here,
You see this
here.
right?
This Pierce Morgan guy keeps coming up in places that I'm just like, man, like this guy. Because you're not sharing it yet, by the way.
Yeah. Let me.
Because last week we did the stream with him and TD Jakes, right? Was it TD Jakes?
TD.
Or was it
I
the
don't.
one?
I don't remember.
Man, all right, forget it, man.
For having me.
Okay, so this is the intro to her, to what she does on social media,
Hmm.
and I wanted to show all aspects because she does other things as well. So I'm not trying to. This is not an attack on her, but we got to expose certain principles and certain things that we need to make clear. But yeah, this is kind of like the intro. So let's go ahead and start here.
Hmm.
4.5 million. Well, there are 4.5 million OnlyFans creators. You are, I think, the highest earner. It's claimed that you've made $43 million. You've got 8.5 million Instagram followers, 14 million on.
What?
She made a lot of money. You know what I mean? but let's keep on going though.
TikTok. You're a massive social media phenomenon. For those who are not familiar with your work, how would you describe it?
Well, I post on many platforms. I post content on Instagram. I post content on TikTok and all the above. And I also post content on OnlyFans. And honestly, I do a little bit of everything. I do a little dancing TikTok videos. I'll post Instagram photos. And then obviously my OnlyFans content.
And would you describe it as pornographic, or what would you describe it as?
I mean, I wouldn't describe it as pornographic, but it's definitely adult content for sure.
Okay.
So
she said I wouldn't describe it as pornographic, but it's adult content for sure. Okay.
Feel about James Fishback and his plan to tax you 50% as a sin tax for being a sinner?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, it's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Florida already has no income state tax. It doesn't exist. So it seems very selective, and it seems like it's a punishment.
So boom. They're trying to, it's deemed to have something called a sin tax coming on the OF models. A sin tax. We didn't even talk about coding.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The coding language. But anyway,
no, we ain't talking about that. We talking about a sin tax. But off the top, man, what's going on through your head right now? Like,
well, first of all, does Florida really not have income state tax?
Nah, no. I mean, Well, we don't have the. Is it the state?
Federal.
We don't have the. Hey man, I'm not an expert, but
But
yeah,
I mean, I
we
know,
don't.
I know for a
Yeah,
fact that the federal government taxes everyone on income. No
yeah,
state
yeah.
is
No, yeah. We don't have no state tax. Yeah, we don't have the state tax one. Yeah,
okay. So
yeah.
what is she
Extra.
talking about? First of all, they got me. And secondly, I looked up her name real quick on Google because I had no idea who she was or what she looked like. And the overview of her is Sophie Rain is an American social media influencer and content creator who first gained recognition. I don't see became an OnlyFans star earning 40. Okay, so let me not go there. I'm not even gonna say because people are gonna be like, "Oh man, that's so mean, that's so rude." Anyway, man, keep going. I'm not gonna trap myself.
So, so as she said here, she said quite a few things. She said, she feel like she's being punished. She the thing that kind of threw me off a little bit was she said she doesn't do pornographic content, but adult content. So then, what's the difference between that? Then I don't understand what the what the difference is. If anybody knows, drop it in the comments or drop it in the chat if you're watching live. But like, what is because they use adult content as even a buffer word to not say pornographic content. So
Exactly.
what are we talking about here?
See, look, man. See this. People split hairs. People love splitting hairs when it comes to justifying something. Because we just did the Jubilee obesity streams. I think 2 weeks ago.
Her?
And the first step to kind of justifying the crazy stuff they're doing with this whole body positivity movement is splitting hairs with the language. And so when you find someone splitting hairs like that, bro, that's the biggest red flag in the world because they're trying to justify what they're doing and so they can feel good about themselves. So that was, man, like this girl. All right, let's keep going because I don't think you've gotten to the part where she claims to be a Christian, right?
Well, you know what? Let's get to the next clip. Let's do it.
I mean, Sophie says that that she feels like this is a punishment. Why are you punishing her?
Well, hey, Sophie, good to meet you. It's not a punishment at all. What it is a deterrent. I think Sophie recognizes that our state was better off when young women aspired to be teachers, small business owners, doctors, and lawyers, as opposed to creating adult content. I can respect Sophie Rain as an individual and still respectfully call out that I don't want thousands of young women who are in high school today to feel like the only way they can make a living when they graduate is selling adult content, video, photos of themselves on the internet. And so, Sophie, look, with all due respect, I know you're from Florida. I'm from Florida. We both love our state. I want what's best for you, and I want what's best for every single woman in our state, and that's not to be objectified and exploited by the OnlyFans owners.
Sophie, what's your response to that?
I feel like as adults, we are all able to legally make our own decisions. And I think that we should also educate a lot more on all of these opportunities that you're speaking of, because I just don't think that we should be singling out any individual for what they choose to do.
James?
Well, I want to single out drug dealers, Sophie. I want to single out people who are committing crimes in our society.
Thank you.
And so as governor, my responsibility is very simple. I want to make sure that there is a path. I'm not going to be one of those Republicans who's going to attack crime. Women.
And it seems to me that your initial assertions before we spoke to Sophie, that she was, that people like her on OnlyFans are enslaved, they're being exploited. And then you do an analogy just now to drugs and whatever, which are illegal, obviously. Nothing she's doing is illegal. It seems to be entirely of her own free will. She's very happy doing it. She's very popular doing it. Under the First Amendment...
Well, have you asked her that, Pierce? Have you asked her if she's happy?
Under the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, what business is it of yours to stick your oar in and want 50% of her cash?
No, Pierce, did you ask her if she was happy? Because she posted a video 2 weeks ago on International Women's Day, where she was interviewing her former self, who looked to be disappointed, who aspired to be, quite literally, in Sophie Rain's own words, an astronaut. Sophie, you are smart. I know you. I know your family. You are capable of anything you put your mind to. And so when you're doing this little cute Spider-Man dance online and you're creating this adult content, know that that person that you used to be still wants something more out of you. And I, as the governor of the state, want every single woman in Florida to achieve their maximum potential.
Whoo!
Sophie?
I mean,
Yep.
I think just realistically speaking,
Yep.
I'm very happy with where I am, and I promise I would have never got to where I am without the platform. Like, I've built businesses outside of this. I am constantly, chasing new dreams and everything. Like, I'm very happy with where I am.
Yes.
So I mean, I know there's been a lot, So what you? I mean, the comment said he's calling evil good and good evil. Hey, man, what you got, man?
All right. So when he said that he, as a governor, wants to put into place
Mhm.
a tax against those doing prostitution or whatever,
Yeah.
someone will say, well, are those Christian values? And what if we said, yeah, those are Christian values? Then people say, see, this is why we don't want Christian values in politics. The next question would be, what values do we want in politics? And I've said this before. People want cultural values in politics. They want what's good for society. If this is the case, then they should have never gotten rid of slavery. Like, the slavery with black people, they should have never gotten rid of it because cultural values.
Yeah.
But it was actually Christian values that helped get rid of slavery.
Yeah, and he actually brings it up in his argument at some
Oh.
point in time. I don't know if we're gonna hit that part of it, but
All right.
when I watched it, he actually brought up as an example or as a analogy for her, and she just wasn't getting it. And then actually, I think we might hit it because there were some questions being asked to both she and Piers Morgan, but they weren't answering the question. They said, "Oh, I can't answer that because he made an analogy." And it's one of them people when they argue and they act like the analogy is supposed to be real or like exact to your life, but it's an analogy for a reason. But anyway,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm telling you, man, you don't want me to like Piers Morgan, do you? Because every video that Piers Morgan shows up in on this channel, he sounds like an absolute clown of a man.
Piers Morgan is kind of clear to me. Like he don't like Christianity. He hates it. He got to get the money. Got to get the money back. So he got to stay. He got to be in the right lines. And even we get to a point where he agrees with the guy that he doesn't want his daughter to be doing this. But I'm kind of skipping ahead here. Let's go ahead get to the next clip because we got a ways to go.
Women are empowered to make their own decisions about their own bodies, their own choices,
so
their
that's
own
fine.
careers.
So let me ask you a question, Piers. If a woman is empowered to make their own decision about their own body, and a woman struggles to pay the rent, do we then encourage that woman to sell one of her kidneys?
Oh, you're not sharing it
and say it was her own.
Oh, sorry, dang it. All right, my bad. Were you able to hear it though?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back.
Herself, not least because she's worth $43 million. But the point I would make is, what about the argument that women are empowered to make their own decisions about their own bodies,
go back like 10 seconds.
So that's fine. So if
you said go back 10 seconds?
Yeah, go back like 10 seconds because I didn't really hear what Piers Morgan answered to.
Well, this is where I did go back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went back.
All right. Cool.
This is the spot.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question, Piers. If a woman is empowered to make their own decision about their own body, and a woman struggles to pay the rent, do we then encourage that woman to sell one of her kidneys to pay the rent and say it was her own decision? No,
Well, she's not selling
we
her
help
kidney.
women.
She's not selling
But
her kidney.
hold on. But where do you draw the line, Piers? She is imperiling her future as a mom, as a worker. You just heard Sophie say
How is she
was
imperiling
fired
her
from
future
her
as a
job.
mother? I don't get that.
Piers,
How does she imperil her future as a mother?
Well, let me tell you how. You just heard Sophie tell you that she was fired from her job when her boss found out her OnlyFans.
Yeah.
She was fired from her job.
Yeah.
And now, what is, with all due respect to Sophie, what are you going to tell your daughter in 10 or 15 years when all of these images are all over the internet and your daughter is being bullied in middle school and was told that you guys were Christians? With all due respect, what do you say then? It creates a real weight, a real tension between a mom and her children, and of course, a worker and her employer. I don't want to encourage women to go on OnlyFans and then get fired from their job and then have a real fight at home about what mommy did on the internet last week.
Okay, Sophie?
I mean, I'm only 21. I haven't even thought about having kids yet. But also, I think that the main discussion here is sin tax. And like in the state of Florida, there's already no income tax. So, and that's also one of the main identities of Florida, is that it is a no income state tax. And I think the main issue here is you're attacking women already on the site making money.
I'm
and
attacking
there's
men as
multiple,
well.
Exactly. There's multiple people on the site, and not everyone does adult content. OnlyFans is a massive platform, and you can do anything on there. Not everything is adult content based.
Well, I think to be fair to him, Sophie, he's not saying that everyone on OnlyFans should get the sin tax. He's just saying the people that he considers to be sinful should get a tax, and you're one of them. He thinks you're a sinner. What do you say to that?
Well, sin tax is he's proposing that it's going to attack everyone on the OnlyFans site. So does that include all of, the cooks on there that are just selling their recipes?
No, it doesn't, Sophie. No, it doesn't.
So how do you single out?
Please don't be disingenuous.
How do you work out who's a sinner and who's not, James?
How do you single it out? So, D over here is burning up, man. His brain is fiery. This is where we at, man. So how do you single it out? He just told you, like, we're trying to build the society better. If we taking out debauchery and rewarding what needs to be rewarded. Like, this is crazy. And we're gonna get to some scripture over here. I mean, so I looked up, Sophie Rain, and she does profess to be a Christian, according to the records of, Google. Yes. So let's get to and see. When you point stuff out like this and you go against this type of stuff, people that's going to catch the video are going to be like, what are you guys judging this way, X, Y, and Z? Judge. I got, right? Everybody always want to say, oh, don't do that. But the Bible gives us some clear instruction here. Let's go to scripture, because that's what we hold to, people that don't believe. That's what we hold to. And even maybe even people that do believe might not be aware of this that we're going to point out. But this is important for us to do. And we're not, once again, we're not doing this to have an excuse, or even we're not trying to bash her, but we're just trying to make the word clear and stand on that, So let's go to 1 Corinthians here. We're going to go to 1 Corinthians 5. 1 Corinthians 5.
You want to share it or not?
I gotta switch the screen. I keep on forgetting to switch the screen.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and switch the screen right here. Let's go ahead and do this one right here. So 1 Corinthians 5, starting at verse 9, and then we're going to go to verse 12. It says, I wrote to you in a letter not to associate with sexually immoral people. I did not mean the immoral people of this world, or the greedy people, or the greedy and the swindlers, or the idolaters. Otherwise, you would have to leave the world. Now I'm writing to you not to associate with anyone who claims to be a believer, who is sexually immoral or greedy, an idolater or verbally abusive, a drunkard or swindler. So, and then let me finish it off. Do not even meet with such a person, for what business is it of mine to judge outsiders? Don't you judge those who are inside. So it's like, hey, the ones who are outside, they're not even a part of the discussion, because they're not a part. They're outside of, what we follow. But those who claim to follow this, we gotta hold you accountable.
Oh my gosh.
We gotta hold you to the flames to see if your materials burn up or if they withstand the fire. We just gotta be honest. And so this is the issue here, is that if you're claiming to be a follower of Christ, that's a big issue if you are a part of idolatry as a lifestyle we're talking about. Like if you're living it out and saying, "No, I could be a Christian and do this," that's not what the Bible says. That's not what it says, man. And that's my problem when it comes to the believers that think you can be a believer, but then also live a worldly lifestyle. That's against what the word is saying. Did we not read a specific passage in that regard? Am I throwing bricks to the ocean here?
I
And
think
it's
you
not
broke
here?
your glasses from our stream last week. You said
Bro,
you were
my
going to break
glasses
them, right?
transformed, bro. My glasses, I looked on the table, it was not the same, bro. I'm
Something's
looking
going
through
on
a
with you,
different
man.
lens,
Something ain't right.
bro.
Something ain't right.
Is so, I always think about the naysayers here because scripture is clear, it's never ambiguous, but just people just don't want to follow what it says, and that's okay if you're not a believer. But if you say you're a believer and you reject the truth, what are you following?
Exactly.
That's the issue.
Exactly.
And that's where I always like to point out, because for some reason there are people that claim to be a believer but are against holiness, but are against following what's right. They want to accept everything the world gives and the world has. They don't endeavor to be unified in the spirit, but they endeavor to be unified in the flesh, which is worldly. I'm just trying to be honest, man. I'm just trying to, so that's where we end up. And then let's go to another one. Let's go to 2 Corinthians, and then we'll get to the last clip here because we're kind of eating our time. But let me switch the screen right here. Let me go to this screen again.
Yeah. There you go.
We got 2 Corinthians 6:14-18. Do not be mismatched with unbelievers. For what partnership is there between righteousness and lawlessness? Or what fellowship does light have with darkness? What agreement does Christ have with Belial? Or what does a believer have in common with the unbeliever? Right. I'm gonna just stop right there because we got enough sauce on this McChicken. You know what I mean? We already put enough sauce on it. I mean, if it's not as clear, even up to that, I didn't even finish the passage because I thought like we didn't, hit the target. Let's go to the next clip, guys.
All right.
Let's go ahead to the next clip. Because it's just so much we gotta get through, and there's so much to say that we don't have enough time.
All right.
So you're going to be launching a
Oh, let me go to the I even forgot to put the next clip here. Let me go. Right here, right 21. Okay. Last clip right here.
That is what he's doing. Sophie, if you had a daughter, would you want her to do what you're doing?
So Pierce Morgan is going to ask her a direct question, right? A clear, direct question. If you had a daughter or a daughter, would you want her to be doing what you're doing, right? And look at the lie she told.
I mean, I would let her decide. It's up to her decision.
But do you think as a mother you would want that?
I think that I would be supportive of it no matter what. Yes.
Sophie, would you be supportive of your son selling crack cocaine?
No, that is illegal.
Right. Okay, so why what is this difference between legal and illegal? Why can't we just say it's moral or immoral?
Because one's legal and one's
because then where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? A lot of people have different opinions.
In Afghanistan, you can marry an 8-year-old. It is quite literally legal in Afghanistan to marry an 8-year-old. And so does that make it right, Sophie?
Boom.
In Afghanistan.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
It's an analogy.
It's a ridiculous analogy. You're choosing a country with totally different laws.
It ain't a ridiculous analogy, man.
Bruh. We
Go
have
ahead.
the law not to marry an underage because it is immoral. How do you come up with the number 18? You don't just get up and say, I think 6-year-olds is where we should cut it off today. What do you think, Mr. President? Yeah, sounds good to me. And then you go to another country and they're not able to marry until they're 18 plus. And you're like, but wait a minute, how did you guys decide 18 plus? I don't know, morals. And you're like, that's a lie. Why do you need morals? If it weren't for morals, why would we then allow people? Why would we not allow grown men to be with little boys? Is it just against the law? Someone just came up with it one day. We're just coming up with stuff, Eddie. We're just coming up with whatever we want. Just whatever. I guess, yeah. Next up, you can wed your 3-month-old child to an adult.
Yeah.
If we can make it legal, I think we can get that done.
Yeah.
Idiots, man.
So we're gonna continue the clip because we're gonna get to their dodging. You know, like this guy's he's not gonna let him go scot free. So let's continue the clip and then we're gonna get to it.
Makes sense.
In the United States of America, Sophie Rain,
Prior to
Sophie
slavery
Rain
being
obeys the same
illegal,
laws that you do, James.
No, Pierce. Prior to slavery being illegal, would you have opposed slavery because it was legal? It was legal, Pierce. It's okay if it's legal, right?
Right?
Sophie?
Look.
No, nigga, you.
Yeah. You, man.
What you
He
mean,
gonna say
Sophie?
Sophie?
What you mean?
He dodging. Pierce trying to stay. Pierce is trying to make
That's
sure the bag.
crazy.
Pierce is trying to make sure the bag is healthy. He got to protect the bag at all costs. He ain't answering that question directly.
Wow.
Yeah, you like.
Nah, you got to play this, man. Play this, man. Play it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and finish.
Oh, you're asking me? I mean, I didn't live back then. I'm just here to talk about
Look,
we are here to talk about,
It's
which
an
is
analogy.
syntax,
Of
and it's a
course you didn't
selective.
live back then, Sophie. Of course you didn't. This is my issue. I'm here to have a good faith conversation with a former Florida resident. A current Florida resident. And my point to Sophie is this: is if you want to keep doing this, then we're going to take 50% of what you earn and we're going to use it to raise public school teacher pay. Our public school teachers are not getting paid enough. We're going to use this as a resource to fund the empowerment of young women who have signed up to do something dignified, with all due respect, unlike you, and be a public school teacher, educating, inspiring, and motivating.
Do you know what, James?
You
know what? Here's what I would say. I've got to end this debate. Here's what I would say. I've listened to both of you, and you both.
Look, man.
Nah, yeah. Close it. Do no. Close it. We don't even want to hear Piers Morgan talk, man.
Piers he's you already know he just trying to work for the bag. He ain't worried about nothing else.
Yeah.
He's it's getting too. They might cut me off here, guys. You got to stop. Like, it's clear, and you know, as you saw, they were avoiding answering the question directly. Look at it. Look what she said. Oh, I don't know. I don't live there.
I don't live there.
An analogy. You know what he's saying. You just avoiding it. You playing hopscotch.
Bro,
man, and not being honest.
It's not even an analogy. It's actually what happened. It's historical fact of what happened. Is real. So she's literally saying that part of history isn't part of humanity's history. So I don't want to go back there. It's not a part of my history. Clown.
Yeah, and just to the point of him pointing out the legal and illegal side, like as he asked them an illegal type of question, they were avoiding that as well because they know morality is above that. And where do you get morality from? You get it from truths. Where does truths come from? From the Bible. So what are they doing? They're choosing they're choosing feelings over facts, lies over truths. That's what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So even as a believer, there are certain illegal things that we can't come into agreement with. And if you do, you're no longer following what the Bible is holding as a standard of truth, and that standard of morale. You forfeited it. So if you're a believer, as she claims she is, and you can't even really stand on a real answer when it comes to that, it shows that you ain't really standing. You just masquerading. You're just wearing a jersey because you like that team, but you don't really represent the team, because when the team isn't popular in another state, you take it off because you're scared. You ain't really representing.
Right.
You're not. And so let's go to a couple of verses here, because a lot of people say, oh, this, that, and the third, judgment, this, that, and the third. Look, let's go to let's go to John 7. I'm going to share the screen this time. John 7, right? It says, stop judging according to outward appearances, rather judge according to righteous judgment. What is right? You know what I mean? What's the root word in righteous? Right. And just like I said, the appearance, you're wearing a jersey, or somebody look like whatever they're doing. But what is right is right, and what is wrong is wrong. Judge with righteous judgment. And that's what we're trying to point out here. Is like, we're looking at this, objectively. Is this right or not? This is not. So we got to stand on that fact or that truth and be honest. We can't be mollywopping and flip-flopping. Let's go to another scripture. Galatians 6:1. Brothers, if someone is caught in any wrongdoing, you who are spiritual should restore a person with a gentle spirit, watching out for yourselves so that you also won't be tempted. This is also important too, because we gotta look at people that actually may be believers and warn them and correct them with a gentle spirit, which is fair. And we got to make sure we do that correctly. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we not also falling into that same, line of thinking. We got to stand on, and that's why you got to stand on the word of truth. Because if you don't, you can end up like this. You got to stand on truth. If you standing on emotion, you're gonna flip flop. That's just the way that it works. And so, to kind of wrap things up, if you claim to be a follower and you're not accepting but rejecting what the word is saying, living in opposition to the word, you got to stop. You got to stop. You got to repent. You got to come back, because that is not the way of the kingdom. It's just not. Any words you got?
Yeah, Ra, you're right, man. Him avoiding the questions is absolutely hilarious, because he'll jump in the conversation when he's like, nah, let me step in here. I have something to say. And then you get a direct question. You talk, man, what you talking about? Some Sophie? No, Sophie was even confused. Sophie said, me? I didn't.
He was like, were you talking to me? No, he wasn't talking to you first.
No.
Pierce is hiding, man.
No. But real quick, last thing I wanted to say was the passage that you read about us not judging outsiders of the Christian faith,
right,
but rather judging those on the inside, right, with righteous judgment, not judgment like you're going to hell, brother. No, like righteous judgment, like that's wrongdoing. Let me help you turn around. Warning.
Yeah.
I realized what Piers Morgan is. Here is a Christian with Christian standards as the governor, and here is a so-called Christian doing pornography, or rather being a prostitute online.
Yeah.
and the Bible verse that you were reading is talking about Christians addressing Christians in the Christian faith. But what was happening here is a Christian is addressing another Christian on a non-Christian platform. And what happens is the non-Christian obviously defends the prostitute's points because he's a non-Christian. So you think you're addressing a Christian on Christian values, but what you're actually doing is you're going through the platform of a non-Christian to a Christian. And that makes you, the Christian, look crazy, because you're taking internal Christian values and throwing it out into the world on a non-Christian platform. And then the non-Christian who's pretending to be a Christian, the prostitute, ends up looking better or being defended by someone who isn't a Christian at all. So, you know, the Piers Morgan platform, it makes complete sense because he distorts whatever truth is told and defends whomever the truth should be affecting. So that was a little thing I realized, and that was crazy to me because the governor makes sense, but for some reason it wasn't getting through to the girl because
make a lot of sense.
Anyway, man, I'm good.
And even better, that like there's gonna be great use with that money. It's gonna go to people that actually work and do something beneficial for society. Actually, like teachers. You know how many teachers are great teachers that's not getting the proper compensation?
You got a 21-year-old making $43 million because she decided to be a prostitute. Nah, man, give that money up, man. You don't need it. What are you gonna do?
50% syntax, man. 50% syntax.
Come on.
You gotta pay. You gotta pay up.
Hey, he's not punishing her. He's just discouraging it, right?
Yeah. He's just discouraging it. Hey, give the teachers give the people that are helping society build better the money so that they can so that we can have more people coming in and filling those important roles rather than debauchery and things that are tearing up society. That makes a lot of sense to me. Makes a lot of sense to me. And of course, we're gonna get people in the comments because they're for debaucherous behavior or nasty things. They're gonna be talking crazy. Drop your thoughts in the comments, man. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you're here to have a real conversation, don't be just commenting and because anyway, it's been another live stream. it's too much to say. I can't say it all, you know. So thank you guys for tuning in, man. If you have anything you want to say, drop it in the comments below. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. That's on the live right now. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you can catch us live. If you've been trying to catch us live and you haven't been catching us live, make sure you click that bell so you make sure you can do that. Any last words, D?
Nah, man, I said all my words, man.
All right, we have a show coming up, a live interview with an atheist. It's going to be a crazy, interesting interview. So make sure you mark your calendars for April 19th, this month, April 19th, at 3 p.m. We're going live, and it's going to be Eastern Standard Time. So join us, mark your calendars. We're probably going to have the show ready to save when we go live so that it can automatically pop up for you guys. So make sure you guys do that. Stay tuned. Without further ado, catch you guys next live stream. It's your man, Eddie Ed.
It's Dialogue, folks.
And we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.